Our autumn fallen leaves wax melts are the perfect intermediate project to celebrate the season and create a cozy atmosphere at home with mica powder, glitter, and our Fireside Treats fragrance oil. To make our autumn fallen leaves wax melts, you'll need the following: 202.4 grams of Carasoy pillar wax, 17.6 grams of Craftovator's Fireside Treats fragrance oil, Craftovator's bronze and orange synthetic mica powder, Craftovator's chunky burnt orange and extra chunky mocha biodegradable cosmetic glitter, and Craftovator's brown and maple candle dye chips. You'll also need a set of digital weighing scales, a double boiler, one 8-cell HB style clamshell from Craftovator, 2 silicone leaf molds, 2 small measuring cups, a milk or digital thermometer, a metal spoon, and a set of nitrile gloves. Place the melting pot on your scales and add 1 brown dye chip to it. Turn the scales on and weigh out 64.4 grams of wax. Next, half fill your bottom pan with cold water and set the melting pot on top. Melt the wax on a medium to low heat. Continually check the temperature of the wax until it's fully melted and the dye chip is fully dissolved in the wax. Once the wax reaches 85 degrees Celsius, remove it from the heat. While you're waiting for your wax to melt, weigh out 5.6 grams of Fireside Treats fragrance oil into one of your small pots. Add a small amount of bronze mica powder and stir well into the fragrance oil. Sprinkle some of the mocha glitter into the leaf mold cells. Once your wax reaches 72 degrees Celsius, add your fragrance oil and mica powder mix and stir continuously for around 90 seconds until everything is thoroughly mixed. Fill your first leaf mold, being careful not to overfill each cell. Now it's time to move on to your second mold. Place your melting pot back on your hob. The hot water in the bottom pan should melt the residual wax so that you can fully wipe out the previous wax batch with some kitchen roll. Place the melting pot back on your scales and add 1 maple dye chip to the bottom of the pan. Weigh out 64.4 grams of wax. Once again, melt your wax and dye chip until the wax is fully melted and the dye chip is fully dissolved, and remove it from the heat once it reaches 85 degrees Celsius. While you're waiting for your wax to melt, you can take your second measuring cup and weigh out 5.6 grams of Fireside Treats fragrance oil. Add a small amount of orange mica powder and stir it into your fragrance oil. Sprinkle some of the burnt orange glitter into your leaf mold cells. Once your wax reaches 72 degrees Celsius, add the fragrance oil and mica to the wax and stir thoroughly for around 90 seconds. Fill your second leaf mold, being careful not to overfill the cells. These will now need to be left for at least 2 hours until they are fully set. We'd recommend waiting until your molds are fully set before moving on to the clamshells. Once again, return your melting pot back in the hot water and wipe off any remaining wax with kitchen roll once melted. Carefully remove the leaves from the mold and set to one side on a clean kitchen roll. Now, weigh out 73.6 grams of wax. If you need to add more water to your bottom pan, be sure to do this now. Set the hob to medium to low heat. Once your wax reaches 80 degrees Celsius, you can remove it from the heat. Allow your wax to reduce in temperature to 72 degrees Celsius. Place your melting pot on your scales and add 6.4 grams of Fireside Treats fragrance oil. Stir continuously for around 90 seconds until it's thoroughly mixed. Once the temperature of the wax reaches around 60 to 65 degrees Celsius, half fill each cell of the clamshell. Once the wax in each cell starts to turn a solid color, but before it fully sets, add the leaves to each cell and gently push down until they are level with the top of the cell. You'll get a slight buildup around each leaf. You'll want to give your finished clamshells around 2 hours to fully set before closing the clamshell, and an additional 7 to 10 days to allow them to fully cure. To use, simply pop out one of the leaf blocks in the clamshell or use one of the single melts from the mold and add it to your burner. Enjoy the fragrance and remelt your wax melts until the fragrance fully disappears. Once it does, you can simply replace it with another wax melt. We hope you enjoyed our Autumn Fallen Leaves Wax Melt tutorial. For more tips and tutorials, be sure to subscribe to Craftovator on our YouTube channel.